sound you may not hear too often. More than half of Americans no longer have a landline and are completely wireless. The world has changed. You can text, tweet, Facebook, FaceTime, slide in somebody's DM, make an actual call, and so many ways to be in touch. Arguably, we are the most connected the world has seen. And yet, in these technological times, we are the most disconnected with declining human interaction. And as someone who spent 7 years with the word relationships in my job title, I have a confession. I got so lonely. Not the sexy kind like my cousin Janet, but the isolating kind. The isolating kind. And I wasn't alone in my loneliness. In the last 50 years, rates of loneliness have more than doubled in the US. We are in an increasingly isolated lifestyles. We have the most solo households in history. We're working longer hours and less active in social clubs. We're getting married later, if we do at all, and having less children, leading to smaller families. We also are more transient, moving the most of any country, an average of 11 moves each. We are in a crisis of connection. And this crisis that I'm talking about isn't just a social issue, but an increasing health epidemic. Because this can lead to this. The former U.S. Surgeon General Vivek Murthy stated that the extended impact of loneliness on our bodies and our lives had the same impact of smoking 15 cigarettes every day. Loneliness can weaken our physical hearts and our ability to recover from illness. But all is not lost. We can't go back to the land of landlines. But we can reconnect. Connection not only gives us a life worth living, but it actually gives us life. When you have a tight circle of friends that you regularly see, you can extend your life by 15 years. And when the University of California studied 3,000 women diagnosed with breast cancer, they noticed something. Women who had a close knit of friends were 4 times more likely to survive than those who had a weak support system. Excuse me. Hello? Hey Jess, I'm kind of in the middle of something. That was my wake-up call. A call I never wanted to get. The first time I was in a room with Wonder Victoria Hamilton, my friends Jen and Gary's infant daughter, was at her funeral. Sadly, after a bout with pneumonia, she passed away. Even worse, I had scheduled a time to meet her, but I didn't reschedule when they needed to, and I lost my chance. She was my wake-up call, my reminder to take my own advice and keep connection at the top of our to-do list. Because the most important possession every one of us owns is the ring. Not a fancy diamond or cute rose quartz, but the ringing of our phones. Who can you call? Who calls you? Now I make a point every day to call somebody I love and prioritize seeing them face to face. I just got back from a few days with my aunt in Florida, who is fabulous, retired, and I have to say picked out this dress because it's important that we prioritize our relationships, because the quality of our lives, it lives in the quality of our relationships. And a Facebook post or Instagram video won't tell you what's really happening in somebody's life. Last year was the busiest year of mine. My first book was published. I traveled the country speaking and signing while also working a full-time job. But also last year was the year people stopped asking me how I was doing. Instead, in conversations, friends would say, "Oh, I saw you went to Oprah's house," or tell me their own story about a place I had visited and their own experience. And I realized I was not being fully seen. But it was on me to open up, because it is our obligation to do 3 things: to openly ask, courageously answer, and actively listen to a simple question. How are you? How are you? How are y'all doing at the top? How are you? And it is on us to authentically answer. And so, yes, I had an incredible time at Oprah Super Soul Sunday Brunch. And yes, I was getting over heartbreak. I was battling being overwhelmed. I ate half a box of donuts after campaigning for Stacey Abrams for governor on election night. So it's on us to authentically open up. And when we open up, we realize we aren't alone. Because connection comes from authentic conversations. And it comes from us opening up. And our cell phones were designed to help us do just that. But instead, they have become our collective crutch. Now when you go in social spaces, you see people with phones in their faces. And so the next time you're in a room and you see everyone disengaged and independently scrolling, I want you to do what I do. I want you to walk up and knock everybody's phones out of their hands. All right, that's not what I do. I just start a conversation. And you will see that the energy shifts and people become present to the beautiful people that are around them. Because the same way someone on crutches wants to freely walk, we all desire authentic connection. We all were designed to be connected to one another. That's why I could only laugh when I was in Durban, South Africa, walking through the market, and I spotted a spice. Next to herbs and for ailments and different types of issues, there was a nice concoction that would help you find a boyfriend. Because we all desire to be seen, heard, and loved. Unfortunately, life does not come with a buddy system. Adulting does not come with its own buddy. There's no one to remind you if you gradually decrease in connecting or increase on the scale. But if you were fortunate growing up, you might have had a go-to buddy. Mine was Camille Colson. I met Camille in 4th grade, and we experienced its crushes and school bus embarrassment together. In 7th grade, we wrote in each other's yearbook what all of our friends wrote in each other's book. KIT. Keep in touch. But we didn't. In high school, we drifted apart, and we got in different cliques and graduated and went to prom with different people. College came and went, and a decade went by before I had talked to somebody who shared some of my most sacred memories. So I slid into her DMs. I missed her. I wanted to see her face in person. I wanted to hear her laugh. And I invited her to come over and talk. And we did. She sat on my mother's couch, and we laughed, and we shared the stories you don't share on social media. Because when we intentionally cultivate our squad, we create a life that is filled with love and success. May our phone lines be like bloodlines with constant flow.